Patients are not real, but the lessons sure are. How special mannequins are helping the next generation of nurses and doctors.
Also ahead, an update on the New York terror attack investigation, why the suspect is saying he did it on Halloween.
But first, a day of turmoil at Jefferson County High School as students are arrested after a large fight. Many parents now looking for answers after sheriff's deputies took 15 students to the county jail. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Eden Schultz.
And I'm Julie Montanaro. That large fight broke out this morning outside the cafeteria at Jefferson County High School. School officials tell us that nobody was hurt. Lenitra Bennett was in Jefferson County all day today and is here now with the latest. Lenitra?
Are outraged. They tell me high school students jumped on middle school students. All of them, young and old, were handcuffed. School administrators say the fight broke out as students were leaving the cafeteria to head to their first class this morning. Some members of the football team were involved along with other students. The sheriff's office was called in, took 15 students away. I was there when 16-year-old Unique Davis was released from the Jefferson County Jail this afternoon.
Put me in handcuffs. They put me in the back of the paddy wagon for no reason. They arrested about 16, 17 different students for no reason that then even wasn't involved in it. When officers came on the school, they arrested everybody who they seen.
Security was added on campus. Classes continued today, and the school superintendent says school will be open tomorrow. Administrators say they're investigating what triggered the fight. Unique told me he was only trying to break up the fight when he got arrested. We'll hear more from him and several parents on Eyewitness News at 6. There will be a workshop at 6 o'clock tonight with school board members and administrators. Parents are encouraged to attend. Guys, back to you.
Certainly have a lot to talk about, that's for sure. Okay, Lenitra, thank you. The Leon County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly stabbing right now. It happened this morning at a mobile home on Matthew Carter Court. That's on the northwest side of Tallahassee off Old Bainbridge Road. We're still waiting on more details from the Sheriff's Department. They have not yet identified the victim or discussed possible motives or suspects. Leon County deputies, EMS, and a forensics team were on the scene this afternoon. We'll keep you updated as this story develops.
New York authorities continue to dig for answers about Tuesday's terror attack in Lower Manhattan. They are now examining cell phones and other evidence belonging to suspect Sayfullo Saipov. So far, they believe he was inspired by ISIS when he drove a rented truck down a bike path, killing 8 people. He reportedly told investigators that he picked Halloween because he knew more people would be on the path.
At this point, we don't see anything that leads us to believe there's anyone else involved, but I caution we're a day or two in.
The New York City Marathon set for this weekend is scheduled to go on with heightened security. 2 former campaign aides to President Trump were back in court this afternoon. Paul Manafort and Richard Gates face money laundering and conspiracy charges. Those stem from an investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. Prosecutors are asking that the 2 men remain on house arrest and under GPS monitoring. Their lawyers say that's not necessary. For now, they're going to remain on house arrest until another hearing on Monday.
Governor Rick Scott's talking priorities for next year's Florida budget. Today, the governor pushed for an extra $10 million to hire more child protective investigators. He also hopes to add funding for children adopted from foster care. The Florida legislature will consider those requests and many others when they convene in January for the 2018 session. The budget discussion came during a meeting with news editors at the state capitol today.
But as Jake Stofan tells us, that event was largely overshadowed by questions surrounding sexual harassment.
2 state senators have resigned in 2017. Senator Frank Artilli stepped down in April after he made racist and sexist comments to another legislator.
I apologize.
Senator Jeff Clemens quit after it was revealed he'd been having an affair with a lobbyist. After a comment from House Speaker Richard Corcoran suggested sexual harassment may have played a role in the affair, questions surrounding the Senate's sexual harassment policy began to surface.
We are a pro-report policy.
But contrary to the idea the Senate policy encourages victims to come forward, records indicate not a single formal complaint has been filed.
I don't think it's fair to say in the absence of complaints You assume that there are complaints.
There are also questions surrounding what repercussions are taken against lawmakers who are accused of sexual harassment, or in the case of the former state senator, if they have an affair with a lobbyist. House Majority Leader Ray Rodriguez was asked why there were no actions taken against a current state representative who had an affair with a lobbyist in 2015. Rodriguez says the affair happened before the sexual harassment policy was tightened to include protections for lobbyists.
I don't think an elected official should be using their position that they have, which is one of power, over anyone who would be in a subordinate position to them.
On the Senate side, President Negron noted in both recent cases of sexual misconduct, the lawmakers resigned before an investigation into their actions could be completed. Jake Stofan, WCTV Eyewitness News, Tallahassee.
The Senate policy for reporting sexual harassment is currently being reviewed after 2 female senators from different parties raised questions about its effectiveness.
And changing gears, we've got a live look now. It's opening night at the North Florida Fair. Boy, you couldn't have asked for a better time. Nice and cool, sun shining. The gates opened just a few minutes ago, and the fun is going to continue until 10:30 tonight. That fair goes from today through November the 12th.
As you mentioned, Julie, great weather for the fair goers. We've been enjoying a lot of cooler air lately, but there's a chance we could be back to a warmer pattern soon. Meteorologist Charles Roop takes a look.
It's a nice and sunny day to head out to the fair, but it's going to be a warm one to start off with temperatures well above average once again. It has been a warm fall overall so far, and it could be like that in the near term. Looking back at October, our average temperature in Tallahassee was around 73 degrees. That's the 8th warmest October on record. We've seen a slow rise in average temperature since records started being kept. As we move into November, we're supposed to see lows near 50 and highs in the mid-70s, but we might be back to above average temperatures in the next few weeks. That's what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for, as the overall pattern favors warmer and drier weather through November. So chances are good if you come to the fair, you may not need to bring this with you. In Tallahassee, meteorologist Charles Roop, WCTV Eyewitness News.
I don't know. Sometimes when the sun goes down, that little jacket helps a little.
It comes in handy, right? It's the time of year when you need to have think about some layering and have many options, Mike McCall, because it seems like mornings you might need the jacket, afternoons you might need the short sleeves. A general rule for me and my family, it's always better to have that jacket and not need it than the other way around. You certainly don't want to be at the fair and be cold all the time, and it'll be comfortable. But we did start seeing a little more of a warm-up this afternoon. It was still nice this morning. Likely you still need the jacket, and some of you hardy folks, maybe not. But we even had a few spots, like Tallahassee, down to 49. But then it was a more rapid warm-up this afternoon. A lot more of the cities out there touching 80 degrees right now. Albany, Dothan, Tallahassee at 80, and right behind Valdosta with a 79. Charles just talked about what a warm October it was, and that was even with the end of October being quite cool. That tells you how warm the first half was. Is that going to change much? I'm afraid we're going back into the very warm pattern and likely a dry one too. I'll talk more about the dismal rain chances and a little more heat as we head toward the weekend coming up in a few minutes.
I think this is just what fairgoers want to hear, right? Any day is a good day to get out there and ride some rides.
Soak it up.
Maybe eat some fried things.
Cotton candy, whatever works for you.
And still to come on Eyewitness News at 5. Everybody knows practice makes perfect, right? But in the medical world, you don't always get a second chance to save a life.
That's where the latest high-tech mannequins come in. We'll show you what they do and how they help medical students coming up next.